now. So the next thing that we are transferring this measurement. Now we have known where and where this cloth, now this paper, we are going to transfer it to her measurements, not yours, not her own personal measurement. So this measurement will start by, at least you get a definite line, at least 1 inch to start your basic. I left this line here because I'm still going to use it. I normally add it here so that I will not forget. This is what I'm going to use to hold the shoulder, so I'll just measure it here. So from here I'll come, and I want to take this vertical measurement on this, because this is a plain sheet, so I want to, everything I measured at this vertical, I'll take it here vertically. That's where I replace. That's why I used to tell my girls that this measurement is the most important, because you can't just come here and say, oh, my boss is 8, no, it's this measurement that will determine where you put your horizontal measurement. Everybody has different, at least a little bit different. So the next thing I'm doing now is to, first of all, I'll get my shoulder done. So my shoulder here is 15. My shoulder is 15, and I'm dividing my shoulder by 2. So because this pattern paper is folded into 2, so I'm dividing my shoulder by 2. So 15 divided by 2 is 7 and half. 7.5, right? Yes. So I can decide to add 1/2 inch to sew. So by the time I sew my arm sleeves, it comes back to 7.5, right? So next thing I'll take in is the armhole measurements. The armhole measurements. I'm working on my shoulder first. First of all, you work on your shoulder before you work on the rest of the vertical measurements. So I'll come here and I'll measure. This is 7.5. So I'm going to, there's a figure, there's a calculation you use to get your shoulder depth, your armhole depth, but you can also use your shoulder. That's your shoulder. What you have on your shoulder, I assume that if you are broader, that means maybe you are fatter. So we just add the same measurement. The same measurement we used to take your shoulder, 7.5. I'll take it downwards, 7.5. But I'll add 1 inches. I'll mark my 1 inches here. I'm going to use that 1 inches later. So what I'm going to mark here is 8.5. This 1 inches is for shoulder slanting, because we are not human beings. We are not completely straight. If you see the way she's saying, you see that her shoulder is already going slanted. So you must remember to add, just borrow 1 inches and add to the measurements of your original shoulder measurement. So what I'll do now is to take, I'll come here. I don't want to just mark it from here to here. This is the shoulder depth, the armhole depth, but I will still carry my tape so that I will pinpoint where 7.5 is, so that I will have a straight line. So what I'll do is, so I've worked on my shoulder now. So I'll come here and take that 1 inch that I added. I'll take it off from here. This is the shoulder slope. So I'll connect it back to my neckline. So this is the shoulder. I've worked on the shoulder. Then I can decide to do the neck, but let's leave that for now. So you can, there's various different type of necklines. Sweethearts, different type of neckline. So but we are just doing the basic bodies. So next thing that we'll do, after we have done our shoulder measurements, you see that this measurement, you come back to 7.5, right? So that's why I left this slant here, so that by the time the person is wearing the shirt, it goes slanted. So the next thing that I'll be doing now is to take this point, all these points I measured on her, as this is a perfect measurement. So I'll take it now and measure it on my fabric. So I'll come here and I'll measure. Her bust point is 9. I like marking in 2 places. Beginners, please, you mark in 2 places, because if you say you should go and do oversabi and draw, you will draw nonsense. Don't say you are in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. Just settle down, because if you get these things right, the way you will wear the clothes, you will not have to amend anything. Come out perfectly. You will not have to stress yourself. So I used to tell my student that if you want to just do the work, when you finish doing it, you will see that your cloth will come out perfectly. You will sew like a pro. So the next thing I'll be doing now, after taking my bust point, I will take the next measurement here is what? No, that's under bust. So you should know all these short hands. This is under bust, so I'll get my under bust 12. I'm taking it in 2 places. You see me doing the work, so you have to do it too. So I'll take it in 2 places. Not that I cannot draw it. I can draw it because I've been in this business for at least a long time, so I can work with my free hands. But I prefer to use my tools, the tools I have, so that will give me perfect. Because your book is small, that's why it's almost getting to your armpit. So the next thing that we're going to be doing now is to take the next measurement. There is what? WL, waistline.
Waistline.
So that's 16. 16. So the next thing I'll do now is to mark it out. So the next thing I'll be doing now, what's there? The next measurement, the hip point. Good. So the next measurement now is to get in my hip point. My hip point is what? 25. Answer now, say it so that it will sink in your head. 25. I think we should be writing it on a board.
No, it's not 25.
The hip point is 25. Okay, yeah. If you are lost, please let me know. So the next measurement we are taking now, we cannot take a full length here because our pattern has finished. So let's just assume that this pattern is your fabric and this is where the length stops. So we are using length 39.25. 39.25. So this is the length. So this is your horizontal measurement. So this is where you will not take your this is your vertical measurement. This is where you will not take your round measurements. You see how easy it is. So the next thing I'm doing now is what? I'll take your bust. Okay, I will say this is your bust. In case you want to forget, under bust. This is your waist. This is my hip point. So the next thing I'm doing on my bust measurement, what I do is that I'll just come here. I'll get a calculator and I will calculate this thing. I like doing it all the time. It's my method. And in case you want to shape it again and you want to cross check, you have already done this. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to take maybe your phone or something and calculate. This is my bust. I will divide it by 4. Divide this one by 4. Then I'll get everything out. So that by the time I'm measuring, I'll just go straight to the point. So 34 divided by 4. Who has calculator? Let me use my tape. I can use my tape too. So I'll just take my tape. So it's about 8.5. So this is my bust measurement. So my waist is 28.
Why is this not?
Yes, this is the bust measurement. So the horizontal measurement is very short. You just have the bust, the waist, and the hip. It's very easy. It's the horizontal measurement that you go. But when it comes to the horizontal measurement, you just have the only shaping we need for your cloth is your bust. For men, it's chest. They call it chest. They don't call it bust. Then from waist, then your hip. Finish. Very easy. So the next thing I'll do now is getting my waist measurement. You can use your tape, but this thing I don't like it. I don't like doing it. I will calculate it and be accurate and write it down. Okay. So maybe another class or something. I don't know. So I'll just come here and measure. So this is 7. So better for you, what you have to do. So I will leave this under bust. I won't measure anything there because this is a gown. The reason why we write under bust, I'm sewing a basic dress. So, but why I'm always keen on you taking your under bust measurements is when we are doing a princess dance. That's when this measurement. But I like taking it so that when you are measuring, you will be seeing this under bust. But when we are sewing a simple dress, we don't need it. If you come to the waist now, because it's the waist measurement you took. So you come here, then I'll put the 7 here. Please. Here. So the next measurement I'll be taking now is the hip measurement. So 38. That kind of thing. Just everything ready. And we'll write everything down. So before we even start, how many? Divided by 4. That's 9.5. So I'll put here 9.5. So I'll come here and write 9.5. So like I said before, what I have here is 9.5, right? Yes. This is 9.5. I'm supposed to go in by 1 or 1.5 to get your knee shape in. You see it now. So when you want to shape it on it, except you are just making a gown that does not have shape, or something like the hand, just like a shift dress. So you can just take what you have on this your hip and bring it down. See, I'm having 9.5, right? 9.5, right? I'll put it here. So this thing will just give me a straight cut, just straight, very straight. So this is just like a shift dress, like she said. So this is something straight. So I'm going to connect these points now. So I can use here. Do you know about armhole curves and the rest? You don't know it. You need it too. There are many curves. It's very easy for you to draft with this stuff. So I'll come here and so there's nothing that is. If you see any sharp edge, please smoothen it out. So this is our shape now. So if I'm making a pencil dress, so I'll just come here and I'll take 1 inch or 1.5 if I want it to be very tight, and I'll come here and I'll do it like this instead of like this. So this is a pencil dress. You can even take it as much as 1.5 to shaping it if you use a stretching material. But I will advise that if it's a non-stretching material, just leave it at 1. Just shape it with 1. If it's a stretching material like the one I was wearing yesterday, I'll just take it like this. So when I cut it out, then first of all, before I cut, so this measurement, you will connect it back to this shoulder. You take your measurement. Yeah. You see this measurement here now, we have not added our seam allowance. You know, but we have not added our seam allowance yet. But what I do, I mostly add it to my measurement if I want to. Or after you do your measurement, you can just come here and add your allowance. Maybe let's see. For a regular dress, maybe 2 inches is too much. That's maybe 1.5, 1 inch. It's a stretching fabric. So because me, I don't believe in wasting materials. Like I manage materials a lot. That's one thing that I've learned to do. I manage material. I don't see any need of it. So I'll just come here and add. So I don't know. Okay, let's just use the original 1.5. So come here, measure. I'll come here. No, you will go and look for this armhole curve. It's very good though for beginners. You know, sometimes as beginners your hands will not be steady, so you just get it so that it will be easy for you to just work with. So I'll just come here and cut this piece out because you don't want any sharp edge when you are making your dress. You can even use your armhole curve so you won't get it. You don't want any sharp edge. You don't want anything like sharp edges when you are sewing your dress. So I'll remove that sharp edges. So everything needs to be straight. Then when I'm done, for beginners, this is how I like to teach beginners, so that you will not so much dwell on the neck and the shoulder. Then you will come back after you have done this. You will come back and do your neck and your shoulder. I think I'm done for today.
Thank you.